Ooh, that looks tasty. So, what do you say? You're hesitating? I get the feeling you didn't completely understand me. If you steal in the streets, you owe it to yourself to join us. Otherwise, you may have some unpleasant encounters. Come now, don't make that face, boy. Not over such a small matter. Welcome to the Court of Miracles. Welcome, folks. Today the Hungry Gamer is back with another game review, and today we are talking about Court of Miracles, published by Lucky Duck Games and designed by Vincent Brugeot and Guillaume Gautran, with art by Ronan Troubeau. And I do apologize for pronouncing however many of those names incorrectly that I did. Before I go any further, please make sure you turn on your Klingon subtitles, because if I make any mistakes in the basic rules overview, that's where you'll find the corrections. And what Court of Miracles is it is a worker placement, area control, bluffing game in which you are playing as the leader of one of the guilds of the seedy underbelly of Paris, which is ruled by the penniless king, and you are more or less trying to dominate the Guild of Thieves, I guess you can call it, and potentially become the new penniless king. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played and just want to hear my final thoughts, so you're going to want to jump ahead to the timestamp on the screen right now. For those of us still here, let's talk about how this game works. And so what I have here is I've set up a two-player game with my red and my green faction. I'll move those off the board. And what you're going to be doing is you are going to be trying to get all of your renown tokens out on the board before any other player manages to do so. And the first player to do that will be the winner. However, there's a little bit of a timer on the game, and the penniless king will be moving around the board until he reaches his final destination, which is the gibbet, at which point the game will end, and whoever has the most of their renown tokens out on the board will be the winner. The way you're going to do this is you are going to each turn be placing out one of your rogue tokens onto the board. I'm going to talk a little bit about these rogue tokens in just a second. But just like any worker placement game, whatever space you set them on, you will get that particular bonus. So the green things here represent these plot cards here, which I'll talk about in a minute. You have coins, and you have these spaces here, which simply will move the penniless king one or two more spaces. And the way you're getting your renown tokens out is by winning these different districts, having the most power in a district when a standoff happens. Now, a standoff is going to happen in one of two ways. Well, one of three ways, really. One, every time the penniless king gets to one of these red wrath spaces, he's going to stop and be like, all right, what's happening in this district? And then whoever has the most power, and again, I'll show you what that is in just a second, will get to place out their renown token. Similarly to that, you have these white ones, and that means when the penniless king gets to those, whoever got the penniless king there can pick whatever district they want to have a standoff in. Additionally, every time a district is completely filled, a standoff is also triggered. Now, the last thing I need to tell you about these districts is, in addition to whatever power is listed on the board, each district also has its own additional ability. For example, this one here allows you to draw a new rogue from the bag. And this will make a little more sense in just a minute, but you'll get to draw a rogue from the bag, and then you get to take this one and replace one of your existing rogues that you have off the board. Take out your token, take the old one, throw it in the Sen, and then you have a new rogue with different powers. And over here, you get to potentially place one of your renown tokens in renown square, which basically you just buy your way into there. I'll note that there is additional worker rogues that you can get right here. Here you just draw a plot card, here you get 2 coins, and here you get to move any rogue token on the board, be it yours or someone else's. Now, let's quickly talk about these rogue tokens. Now, each player starts again with the same rogue tokens, and you know what they are when you flip them over and you see what's on the other side. You'll see they have numbers and different symbols on them, and that tells you what the token does. The numbers, that's how much power you have, and so when that standoff happens, you simply add up all the power. Whoever has the most wins the district. The symbols are extra abilities that you may or may not have. So for example, right here, this one means if you lose the district, your beggar there will then get a coin from whoever wins the district. And there are a whole bunch of different things that you can get. For example, the one that I just picked up out of the bag is worth 1 power, and if I win the district, I would get a new plot card. Now, speaking of plot cards, you're able to play one of those on each of your turns, and it tells you exactly what it does down at the bottom. But that's it. That's how this game is played. Obviously, there's lots of different plot cards and there's lots of different rogue tokens, but you now get the idea of how this game works. So, what do I like about this game? First off, I love the production on this game. I love this that the board is shaped like the city. Is it necessary? No, but it makes me happy. I love the color and this kind of dull and dreary look to the city because it makes me think of a kind of Dickensian world, Prince and the Pauper, or Tale of Two Cities right before the Revolution happens, of what the city might have been. And I'm going to talk about the art on these cards in a second, but also these tokens feel fantastic. I love that they're these big, chunky things, and you just take them and you drop your little faction marker in there. It's very easy, it's very quick, but they feel great. They are enjoyable to have, to pick up as you're looking and trying to see exactly what it, nope, which guy do I want to put out? And it's great. It is just a really good production. And I'm kind of disappointed that there's not a deluxe version, which maybe would have some metal coins and maybe a little king miniature or something going around. But anyhow, the production on this is fantastic. And like I said, I love the art on these cards. To me, it's just so evocative of what this world is, this kind of seedy underbelly that you're playing in. And it's not the nobles that are really the most interesting. It's the poor people and the people trying to scrape by in this horrible world that you live in. And it's great. It is perfect. I love this art. Enough about the production on the game. Let's talk about the gameplay. What do I like about the gameplay? First off, I did not think this game was going to be remotely fun with 2 players, and that's what I've played the most. And I was wrong. You see, this game is going to shine at max player counts because there's so many different things going on, and these different districts are going to be filling up so quick. By the time it comes back around, a whole district may have already filled up, and so the level of planning you have to figure out is going to be so great at high player counts. But at 2 players, it's almost like there's this moment where you have to have plans within plans within plans, because you know they have plans. You know that their plans are probably really good, and they're going to have some plot cards that are really going to do some stuff that's going to mess you up, and they probably have gotten some rogues here that have abilities that are really going to make it difficult for you to grab stuff. So while they're doing all their planning, you're trying to outthink them and try to get 2 steps ahead of them, and knowing that they're probably 2 steps ahead of you, so you really need to be 3 steps ahead of them. And it really is a delightful little experience to play 2-player. And I think that is because of the tight rule set that this game has. There are only 3 different types of things that can happen on the board itself. You're moving the king, you're drawing more plot cards, or you're going to get yourself a little bit of money. That's it. Then in addition to that, you're going to have the ability to get new rogues, and that's where all the real variety is all these rogues. What do they do? Which ones do you want to keep? Because you can only have 4, and once you get rid of one, it goes into the Sen, and you're not going to get that one again, most likely. So there's that strategy, which I really think is cool. I also really appreciate the way the standoffs work. The fact that there are so many ways to trigger them. By the king, you can try to plan it out to where, oh, I see the king's here, so I'm just going to throw something right here, and boom, I'm the only one there. Oh, I just got that one. Or you're going to get to one of these, and you're going to be able to pick which one you do, and maybe you can outthink your opponents there. And then there's some plot cards that also let you do that. And it's fantastic because by controlling when standoffs happen, you can control the game. And that's great. I really enjoy that. I enjoy all of how that works. But I think what I like the most about the game is the rogue variety. I love that I can go in and pick different workers that do different things. And yes, there's some randomness. Did I draw it out of the bag? But that is just a lot of fun. Do you want to try to get yourself
ones that are 3 but are going to cost you money to use and a bunch of 2s and just try to bully your way through? Or are you going to be more clever and use things that if someone else wins a district, then you get something? Or if you can find a way to win a district, you can maybe place your renown tokens in different places because, hey, every time you win a district, you get to put a renown token. But if you already have one there, it doesn't matter if you win. But if you have the courtesan rogue token, then, well, you win a district, you get to place yours somewhere else. And maybe that will remove somebody's token. Or do you just want to go and earn a lot of money and literally buy your way through? Because you could almost buy the victory here, which is sadly thematic, right? So all of that, I think, really does well. And I really think that this game is going to be an amazing game to take to conventions when conventions are a thing again. Because it plays quickly. I cannot imagine even a max player game going more than an hour and 20 minutes. It's easy to learn, and it's a fun, tight game. Now, what are my quibbles with the game? And the first one is, the manual spends a decent amount of space talking about these different factions here and what they are and how they're different and what it is that they do. But mechanically, they're all exactly the same. And I think it's a missed opportunity that, and I don't necessarily think that it has to have faction powers, even if it was just each faction has a slightly different loadout of rogues at the beginning. Maybe the ones that represent the Prostitutes Guild, well, maybe they have a courtesan that they start with, or whatever it may be. And so I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity that all the different guilds are exactly the same. Even if it was just a variant rule, I think that could be a lot of fun. And then the second thing is, also in the manual, there's a pretty long bit of flavor text that talks about what the Court of Miracles means. And what the Court of Miracles is it's this beggars, poor people's court that's ruled by this penniless king, but at this court, literal miracles happen. Blind people suddenly are able to see, or whatever it is. But that is not in the game. Perhaps somehow the miracles are being represented by these plot cards, but it doesn't really feel like that. So I feel like there's a little bit of a miss there. I wish that part of the theme and the interesting story was more included in here. And then the other one I already alluded to is the game is interesting at 2 players, and actually I enjoyed it at 2 players, but it's significantly better at higher player counts. The more people you have, the more fun this game is going to be. And I haven't played at 5 and 4, but I think it's going to be great, and I'm confident enough, having played enough games, that it will be a much better game at higher player counts. But there you have it, folks. That is the Court of Miracles. I think this is a game that really is not getting the coverage that it deserves. This game is a good game if you like bluffing and if you like kind of area control, worker placement. If you like those games, somehow this game has brought all those mechanics together in a way that just works. And I'm actually very excited to play more of it whenever conventions are going again, and whenever we have the pandemic under control here in America. So, there you have it, folks. That is Court of Miracles. The game is available for pre-order now. Should be available very, very soon. If any of that sounds interesting to you, I highly recommend that you check it out. And I will also say Lucky Duck has been really impressing me lately. They have some of the top production value, I think, in board game publishing right now. They're not Chip Theory games that clearly has the top, but they are up there, and I'm very impressed. I'm looking forward to whatever it is that I get to check out from them next. Spoiler, it's Chronicles of Crime 1400. As always, if I made any mistakes with the rules explanation, please let me know in the comments with a timestamp. I'll get that into the Klingon subtitles. As always, if you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.